Okay, next we'll hear CS for HB069, Missing Persons with Special Needs by Children, Families and Seniors Subcommittee and Criminal Justice Subcommittee, and Representative Porter. You are recognized to present your bill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This HB069 is a pilot project that would be located in Baker, Columbia, Hamilton, and Suwannee counties entitled Project Leo. And it is based on participants who have autism, autism-related spectrum diseases, or dementia issues, Alzheimer's, and the participants would be selected based on criteria that is developed by the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities, or the CARD program, located at the University of Florida. Under Project Leo, personal devices that would aid in search and rescue efforts would be provided by the center to the sheriff's offices in the participating counties, and it would require the center to provide preliminary report by December the 1st of 2015. And the Project Leo, would operate to the extent of available funding from the CARD Center. And that is the bill, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. And we do have one amendment. Could you just go to the amendment and present that right now, and then we'll come back for questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment simply clarifies in the language that the expenses would be coming, or would be due to the CARD program and not through the state of Florida.
Okay, thank you. Members, any questions on the amendment? Are there any objections to the amendment? Okay, hold that thought. We have one public appearance record on the amendment itself. Gary Stein, representing FAAST, Inc. Mr. Stein, good morning.
Good morning, Chairman Metz, members of the committee. As Director of Public Policy for FAAST, which is the Florida Alliance for Assistive Services and Technology, I would like to thank Representative Porter for sponsoring this potentially life-saving legislation, as well as the bill's co-sponsors. Currently, these individuals do not qualify for amber or silver alerts, and this bill does address this great need for urgency. Because when an individual with special needs elopes, bodies of water and traffic may be the immediate danger, but time is the greatest enemy.
Mr. Stein?
Yes.
We're on the amendment now, so could you confine your testimony to the amendment itself?
Okay.
Well, we'll come back for public input on the bill as amended at a future, just a few minutes from now. We'll be back. I think you're going to the actual bill, aren't you?
The bill and the amendment at the same time. But
okay, let's just focus on the amendment right now.
Okay.
We want to get that postured. So do you support the amendment, or?
We support the amendment. However, we feel that it's missing three key items that are very important. The first off is law enforcement training, because the way you approach a child with autism is different from the way you approach a different type of child, and the training is specific for that. Also, there should be an inclusion criterion that includes fiscal stratification. Although these devices seem affordable, they are to some, but others are not, and so therefore to make this funding go as far as possible, there should definitely be included a fiscal stratification, and also a public awareness campaign, so that this limited pilot program can extend far beyond those just enlisted in the program. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. That concludes public input on the amendment. So now we'll ask again, any objections to the adoption of the amendment? Seeing none, and we'll show the amendment adopted without objection, and we're back on the bill as amended for questions of the sponsor. Any questions, members? I don't see any questions coming forward, so we'll go to public testimony now. And Mr. Stein, do you have anything else to
Yes.
add? Okay, please approach, and we'll hear from you now on the bill as amended.
As I was mentioning before, when a child elopes, the more time that elapses, the more potentially lethal the outcome. And you might think that elopement is a rare event, but it happens in almost 50% of all individuals with autism spectrum disorder. And 1 out of every 68 individuals in this country is affected by some type of autism spectrum disorder. In Hillsborough County alone, in the 2013 school year, there were over 278 instances of wandering in the public school system alone, which does not include those who are homeschooled or in private or charter schools. And as many as 60 deaths, like Leo, of whom the project is spoken about, have been reported in a single year nationwide. And many more, like Peyton Blodgett, who was lost in Baker County in 2014, were found in critical condition. It's rare that you hear a great story of a individual being found quickly. There was one very quickly in Indiana just a few weeks ago, where a child had wandered away from an elementary school, and there happened to be a policeman nearby who happened to notice that there was a water treatment plant nearby, and not knowing where to go, he went straight there. He found a child slipping into what is called a clarification pond, which, for those of you who are familiar with that, is an 18-foot deep pool of sewage that's churning rapidly. And he was able to save the child, and he said it was divine intervention. But unfortunately, we cannot legislate divine intervention, and that's why this bill is so important. These personal locate and rescue devices are life-saving technology, and they reduce that search time from hours or days to minutes. The funding required for this initiative is dwarfed by the benefit. The cost of saving Peyton Blodgett, which took almost 49 hours, was over $1 million. And it included 11 federal, state, local agencies and volunteer organizations. The cost to the parents of a search that ends too late is insurmountable. If this bill saves just one precious life, it's worth it. But please consider my suggestions for the amendments so that we can go further to ensure this bill's success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. Next, we'll hear from Zane Smith, representing AARP.
We'd like to waive and support.
Thank you very much. Ways and support. And Buddy Williams with the Live Oak Police Department, the Chief of Police for Live Oak, Florida.
Mr. Chair, thanks for allowing me to be here today. And he just briefly touched on a few of the things. I'm also a father of a disabled child. But last year, August of 2014, Leo Walker, who this bill is named after, disappeared in my city. 72 hours later, he was found dead in a body of water. But during that 72 hours, we had 15 plus different agencies and over $3 million spent. I'd never seen anything like it in my life, along with over 400 volunteers, personal volunteers. My child suffers from Angelman syndrome. She's a runner as fast as she can run. These kids aren't as mobile as autistic children are. But I can tell you, as a law enforcement representative, minutes and hours are precious. In my small town, problems that we have is there's not a lot of resources. There's no such thing as respite care, really, in our areas. And it may seem odd to some people that our children can get away from us and never know they're gone. But let me tell you, a child such as mine who does not sleep but about 4 hours a day catches up with you for two full-time parents that work. I'm very fortunate enough to be able to afford an alarm system in my house, have every door, window, and everything else alarmed, refrigerator alarmed, pantry alarmed. We lost the life of a 9-year-old boy, and it could have been prevented. It could have been prevented. I know that this is a pilot program for our area, but I agree, it needs to expand. I don't know if you or any of you here are affected by autism or any other spectrum disorder. Over 200,000 in the state of Florida. 23% of our 29 million are older, which means dementia is coming to a lot of those. 46,000 law enforcement officers in this state. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes could save a life. We GPS our phones, our cars, and everything else that's got monetary value. Why can't we do it for our children, our most precious resource? And it needs to be readily available to all. I live with them, I work with them every day. Crisis intervention training, great idea. Love it. Autism awareness training for all law enforcement should be done. They should come to Live Oak, Florida and see how I do it, because by golly, they know. We know our people, which is where we're very lucky. I have special needs individuals volunteer 3 days a week at my office because I want to tell you, it teaches my men and women life lessons. It's as good for us as it is for them. I hope that you'd really think about this, because money in the end is not that big of a deal, guys. We need help in my area. I take my daughter to school every day. 99% of those children in that special needs classroom comes from socioeconomic challenged parents and families. I'm an advocate in my school system, and I'll fight for them to the end. Unfortunately, if you're not as fortunate as others, your education's not as high either. I'm not claiming to have a degree in anything other than life. And I was the true professional when we were looking for Leo Walker. Out of all the behavior analysis people, out of all of the other stuff they had, couldn't see how he could get out of a 6-inch space, jump out of a house, and disappear and go 8 blocks. I live it every day, and I told him, I said, you have no clue. They are Houdinis. And just a few precious moments, guys, could result in victory for all, just like Sheriff Dobson, hallelujah, that kid was found. But I knew in my heart when we lost Leo Walker and we have the problems that we have with water in the city of Live Oak, that young man was gone, because within minutes, folks, we had canines from both agencies, Department of Corrections, Live Oak Police Department, flooded like crazy. The dogs led straight to a water location, which he was not found there. He was found 8 blocks behind. But I knew in my heart that he was gone, because these autistic children have characteristics about them that they're going to hide. I mean, we played Barney music that he loved most. You know, we did everything we could. But what I'm asking you guys to definitely be in support of what Representative Porter is trying to do. Her office is, when I contacted her, jumped right on board. And there's, like I say, there's got to be a way that we can save a child's life. Project Lifesaver's out there. But it's not it's a great resource, but parts of it are very expensive to small agencies like myself. The device itself is not that expensive. The tracking antenna is several $1,000s. I just want to say that I hope that each of you look deep, and now you know some people just like what I'm talking about. They need help. They need to be protected. And I'm just asking you to do what you can to help us with this situation.
Well, Chief, thank you very much for your heartfelt testimony and for coming from Live Oak to give it today to us. So we have the benefit of your experience and your insights into this issue. We really appreciate it, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll hear from Margaret Hooper, representing the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council. Ms. Hooper?
Florida Developmental Disabilities Council waives in support.
Ways in support, thank you. I don't have any other records. Does anyone else wish to be heard on this bill who we haven't called? Very well. That concludes public testimony, and we're now back on the bill in debate. Members, would anyone like to be heard in debate on this bill? Ranking Member Roussan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And Chief, thank you. It touches all of us. My wife and I have 5 boys, and our youngest has cognitive issues, and it's in the family of Asperger's. We worry about him processing information, and I think one of the best things we can do is, and I said it earlier on Representative McBurney's bill, but this is an idea whose time has come. And I urge all the members of this committee to support this good bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I just want to thank Representative Porter for bringing the bill forward and working with us on the amendment. And with that, Representative Porter, you're recognized to close.
Thank you, Chair Metz. The first thing I would like to say is that I want to thank you and your staff for being so helpful and allowing this bill to move forward. I certainly could not have done it without you. I also want to thank Dr. Valcante from the CARD program at the University of Florida. He has been a fantastic resource, and we would love to be able to roll this bill out to its maximum capacity, but sometimes you have to take baby steps, and that is what we are here doing today. This bill does not have a fiscal on the state. This bill is going to be supported by the CARD program, and we will be reporting back to the state, and if this program is successful, I hope that at some point down the road, we can do the right thing for all of these children and these adults with disabilities and expand the program, assuming that it works, and I think in my heart that it certainly will. And thank you very much to Chief Williams for coming over today and for everything that he's done to help us, as well as my legislative aide, Sherry Van, who has really been the driving force behind this. So I would appreciate everyone's favorable support. I think it's in the best interest of all of us and the state of Florida. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Deborah, would you please call the roll on CS for HB69?
Representatives Ahern.
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Eisnagel.
Yes.
Latvala.
Yes.
McGee.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Bridget. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Rusan.
Yes.
Spano.
Yes.
Trio.
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
The bill passes, sir.
Members, by your vote, CS for HB69 will be reported favorably. Congratulations, Representative Porter. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, members, we have two more bills. The next one will be CS for HB287, controlled substances by the